It's the one only Dispelling, bringing you guys another gameplay commentary. This is Elder Scrolls Online. Wanted to do a quick commentary. Hopefully it's quick. Just talking about builds and misconceptions and applied versus theory and fiction versus real game stats. Because sometimes, people will leave comments about, well, my stats are XYZ and this you can do a little bit better, and those are all opinions. However, and it's human nature, you can't really fault them, because if you invest so much time into a game and someone says, hey, your shit is shit, and your knee-jerk reaction, like, the fuck do you think you're talking to? Like, you're kind of in a bubble. You can't be objective about your character, and sometimes you have to take a step back and think about what this person is saying, and take those things into consideration. Having said all of that, there's a reason why I put in the builds, and I wanted to post some other builds, but I just wanted to make this video just kind of clearing particular things up. So you guys will understand why I post for advanced players, why it's for solo players, and it doesn't take into account group play if you play in a group. So I just wanted to show you guys my characters, and I'll go to the two main characters that I'm currently playing, and my main, which is a DK. So of course this is an Imperial Templar, Imperial Dragonknight, my main. Imperial Nightblade, which used to be my main, but that's a long story. My High Elf Sorcerer, my Wood Elf Nightblade, my Nightblade Orc, my Red Guard, which I'm currently playing, and my Breton Templar Magicka, which I'm working on currently. So let's go to the DK just to show you guys just stats. This character has Undaunted Metal 9, so this character can get the max stats you can think of. And I've mentioned this before. I've always, my premise is always to have a well-rounded character that can do a lot, because as I mentioned before, my builds are all predicated around solo play. Now, some people advocate, they're more in favor of food. I am not. I believe that, with an exception of DKs, you should run 2k stam recovery or more, especially for non-DK characters. So let me just take out, because my other character had some. Let me take. It's just removing certain things so I can, because I haven't played this character in maybe a few weeks, because I've been. Right. So I just can show you guys just the stats and how those stats apply to. So what I'm running is 4-piece Morkoden, 2-piece Malabeth. I'm just working on now. I mean, I've run other things in the past. I've run Injured Guardian, Molokina, but currently I'm running. So this is what it looks like. Let's buff this up, and just to show you guys. All right, let's go into an open area here, just to show you guys that this character has Undaunted Metal, and it's an Imperial, so it gets max 10% max stamina. So the max the most stamina you can get is on this character in a Red Guard. So let's take a look. Let's buff up. Let's buff up here. As you can see, this is the max stam I can get running all medium, running the Boon Serpent, running Magicka and stamina recovery, V15 blue food. With a DK, you can get 18, close to 1900 stamina recovery. Is fine, because DKs are really great at sustain, and you can run that. Unless you're running sword and board, you can't survive with 1200 stamina recovery running max food. You can't. If you're 1vxing and you're not playing in a group, it's almost impossible for you to do that. And for those people who say otherwise, I don't believe that. Let me grab some max food here. And I'll also show you guys what the Undaunted would look and just what the tooltip would look like if you did have Undaunted and you did just go food. I don't think. Let's take out a few, because the tooltip is what I look at. I don't specifically look at weapon damage, because that doesn't really tell the full story. So let's go to which increases your health and your max stam. Okay. So with maxed Undaunted, with 7-piece medium, this is what you get. You get 35,950. You get 26. And let's look at your tooltip. Let's buff up here, because you got a buff from Igneous Shield. You get a minus Savagery, so you get 34. And my Wrecking Blow is hitting for 11.6. My Take Flight is hitting for 16.4. All right, that's with max food. But your stamina recovery is gimped. It's severely, it becomes an issue, because if you're fighting multiple opponents, multiple people, and you're fighting an organized group, this stamina recovery will not help you. And your magic recovery is pretty much shit. That doesn't help you either. The only thing you can probably rely on is Igneous Shield, which gives you a 5% return to your stamina. You can do that, but it doesn't help you. I know Take Flight regens around 70% of all of your stats. I don't know what that really means, but it helps out a lot, but it doesn't help you to the point. So let's see what, I know it's, imagine that's 802 stamina, right? Let's go with Engine Guardian. This is what the character sheet would look like. This is max, right? This is what the character sheet would look like. So you would get 37. If you applied, you dumped everything into stamina, add another 500, add another 500, you'll be close to 40k max stam. But your stamina recovery is gimped. It doesn't really, it doesn't help you out in long drawn out fights, especially when you're dueling. Unless you're running sword and board, then you don't really have a problem. Sword and board really excels at stamina management, resource management for that fact. All right, so let's go to my other character, which I'm currently playing a lot of, which is my Red Guard Nightblade. And I've said this before, Red Guard Nightblade is better in terms of resource management. It's better than a Wood Elf. It's better than an Imperial. So let's another stamina here. Let's log out. Should I just cut this clip up and then do some fancy edits? Yes, I should, but I'm lazy and I don't. Maybe I should cut this out. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. It all depends. If you guys don't like it, then fine, just skip. So you have to have at least 2k stamina recovery for any stamina build that's not a Dragonknight, right? It's not a Dragonknight, and this is an Imperial. Dragonknight, so you might have better stats with a red guard. That's what I've said this before. I think a red guard overall is the best stamina, has the best stamina racial classes, passives, and I'll explain to you guys why that is the case. So when you hear people say I have this amount of health, this amount of stamina, this amount of so and so, pry a little bit deeper and say, so how much stamina recovery do you have? How much magic recovery do you have? Do you play in a group? Do you play solo? Do you 1vx? Do you do any of these things? Because those are variables you have to take into account. So let's pull up. If those people saying, well, you could have used Hunting's Rage. That's not a burst build, but it is it can burst. But Wrecking Blow, I could care less if it crits or not. To be honest with you, honestly, it could care less if it crits. But the build where I think should be critting is this build. And let me just add the necklace of health, because like I said this in most of my videos, I'm a fan of health. So this is my well-rounded bow two-hand build, and I haven't placed this yet. You can see this build around. It's nothing special. So as you can see, it's 28. I'm working on Undaunted. It has 2.5k, 20,500 max health, 28k, well, close to 29k max stam, 3,500 weapon damage, 2,100 recovery. I think this right here, this build right here, in 45.7, if you round everything off, is 46 crit. Right, I'm running 5-piece Hunting's Rage and 3-piece Ashen Grip, because I think health is very important. I'm running 3-piece Necklace of Agility. And for those people, I have over the max champion points. So all the stamina you get from 501, I get it. So no one can sit there and say, well, your champion points are so and so. Like, this is why I keep saying to people, not a lot, but a few, take into account your stamina recovery, take into account your magic recovery, take into account a lot of things that are very important to how you play this game and your play style. Another thing that I want to also mention to you, why I think Red Guard is better than all the other racial classes for stamina, because of this. Adrenaline Rush restores 864 stamina whenever you damage an enemy with a melee attack. This can happen no more than once every 3 seconds. This is equivalent to siphoning strikes, siphoning attacks. It's equivalent, and you get that as a racial passive. So that's why I think it's I think it has the best racial passive for stam. I mean, what else suffers from, doesn't have enough max stam, it doesn't get that 10%, and it doesn't have health? It does have that 21% increase in stamina recovery, but Red Guard has 9%. Also, is a quick little tip, I don't really want to mention it, but you should get your alchemy up to 50 so you can add 3 points into medicinal use, because it doesn't really work that well on potions that you buy, but potions that you make, it's amazing. The cooldown is 47.45 seconds, and you get these benefits for 47.6 seconds. So that's 2.6 seconds over the cooldown. So you can have this up at any time. So hopefully this commentary wasn't too long, but I just wanted to kind of convey to you guys, my builds are basically for solo play, having at least 2k stamina recovery, or even more than that, and being able to manage your stamina because you're in long drawn out fights, or you're in one, you're doing 1vx, and you have to have decent stamina along with using your terrain to your advantage. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about or any comments about it, it's fine, man. You can leave as many comments as you want, or as many, because I honestly don't